If you're thinking about staying at the Arizona Biltmore, here's exactly what my experience was like, what surprised me, what I loved, and whether I think it's worth the price. Come on, let's talk about it.
Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Head toss, check my nails. Baby, how you feeling? Head toss.
All right, let's dive in because seriously, this is one of my absolute favorite properties, not just in Arizona, but in the United States. The Arizona Biltmore. It was built back in 1929 designed by the architect Albert Chase MacArthur. However, the architecture was heavily influenced by Mr. Frank Lloyd Wright. In fact, his wife actually donated quite a few pieces to the Arizona Biltmore for their landscaping. If you walk around the property, you will be able to see some of the statues placed around from his collection. This property was really intriguing to me because I am a history buff. I love any kind of history, whether it be, I really do tend to lean in on loving pop culture history, but I also just like history in general. And I believe that they had mentioned to us that almost every single president have stayed at the Arizona Biltmore. In fact, there's a wall lined of photos of past presidents visiting the property, playing golf, staying, schmoozing, whatnot. So that was really neat to me and was quite a draw. The Arizona Biltmore actually is also a very, very luxurious resort, and I am all about luxury. I love a good spa. They have a phenomenal spa, so I was all in on a stay here. Now, when we went, we had a cottage room, and the cottage room was really cool because it gave you a little bit more space, but it also gave you a little bit more privacy. You weren't in the actual attached hotel area. You walked throughout the property to get to the cottage where we were. And the cottages, they're not separate, just one cottage at a time. There are a couple units attached. We were upstairs, so you walked upstairs to get to our door. I believe we had somebody that was also downstairs. And what I loved about it was that when you have a cottage, you actually have pretty much a private patio area, semi-private area, because when you are outside of your cottage door, there is a patio that's split into two. When you walk up to the patio, you walk into a space where there are two separate patio areas together. You can actually draw curtains so you can make the space enclosed and more private because you are not sharing it, between strangers, but you each have a patio up there. So you've got your patio and then you've got your neighbor's patio, and you can close some curtains in between. There's a fire pit out there. There is probably enough room on the patio in your own area for maybe 6 to 8 people. It's really a great space. And I loved it where we were because our patio was overlooking the hotel grounds and had a phenomenal view of the mountains in the background, which I highly recommend waking up, having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and then just breathing in that fresh morning air and looking at the mountains. Something I really enjoyed about the actual cottage is probably something you haven't, heard someone gush over before. I love their little touches, like their beautiful china for tea service. I thought it was so neat that their china was so adorable, different little pieces, very, very eclectic. And those are the kind of things to me that set a hotel apart and really lean into the experience that you're having. So, like I said, I would heavily advise you to wake up in the morning, make a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, and go outside on your patio and just enjoy. The cottage room was really big. You walked into your room. We had a king bed. We had a whole living area that was rather big, and we had a very, very nicely sized bathroom, a beautiful bathroom, and beautiful, comfy robes, which to me, a robe should be in every hotel room, and it's not anymore. What I did not have that I do recommend is looking into their Citrus Club. And their Citrus Club is an optional upgrade and honestly feels like you could turn your stay into a really great all-inclusive luxury experience. So the Citrus Club, number one, you have to be 21 years old or older to be a part of the Citrus Club. They offer a private lounge, a premium open bar. They have food served throughout the entire day. They have a dedicated concierge staff, private check-in and check-out. They have a beautiful, absolutely stunning outdoor garden patio with fire pits. And it's all very convenient to the, I'm not going to say this right, Ukitia pool. Probably did not say that right. I probably wouldn't recommend paying for it if you're planning to spend every day sightseeing, like you're not going to be in the hotel barely at all. But if your goal is to relax and really enjoy the resort, I can absolutely see the value in adding the Citrus Club to your stay. All right, let's talk about the pool and resort amenities. There are 7 pools here that you can spend your time at. There is a beautiful spa, absolutely gorgeous. We toured the entire thing. They have really neat massage beds. They have massage beds with granite rock, I believe it was. And then they even have a massage bed that incorporates water. Like, you remember in the 80s when, we all had a water bed? That's almost like what this massage table actually is. Of course, they have an iconic golf course. That's what a lot of people go there for. And they have a fitness center. Dining is spectacular here. If you have not seen my other video, definitely check back for my Jordy's brunch video that was at the Wrigley Mansion. It's not part of the Arizona Biltmore, but it is on the somewhat unofficial property, and it's a 2-moment drive it took us 2 minutes from our cottage. But they have multiple restaurants. They have a phenomenal breakfast. I had delicious fresh squeezed juice when we were there for breakfast. And at night, we had just the best dinner ever, from just really beautiful crafted cocktails to very fresh food. The dining was spectacular. I want to talk about some fun history you might not know. I want to talk about a little cocktail called the Tequila Sunrise. You've all have heard of it. Well, the Arizona Biltmore is known as the birthplace to the original Tequila Sunrise cocktail. It was created at one of the resort's bars in the 1930s. And if you ordered one there, of course, you're going to be having a Tequila Sunrise in its birthplace. I think that is really cool. Like, how often do you get to have a drink in the place where it was originally created? It's not very often. And the bar is stunning. It's so beautiful and very easily accessible. It's right in the lobby. Some things that surprised me: how large the property is. The property is gigantic. Doesn't matter if you're couples wanting to enjoy an adults-only trip, they even have an adults-only pool. Or if you're a family, they have a phenomenal water slide, I wouldn't say it's a water park per se. I would use that term loosely, but they have a really neat water area for your kids. They have a splash area for little kids, and then for the older kids and maybe some of us adults, they have some really cool water slides. And if you want to be close, if you're a family and you want to be close to that water area, there are rooms where you just literally open up the slider and you walk out and you are right there. So that's definitely an option. Things that I wish I knew before I went. I would say, again, I wish I knew how much larger the resort was. I did not have a ton of time to spend just relaxing at the resort. When we were there for business. So we kind of, woke up in the morning, walked around. It was so peaceful in the morning. I highly recommend walking around early in the morning for that beautiful, peaceful scenery. I would also say build time into your itinerary to enjoy the property. That's something I wish I knew before. You definitely want to have some time literally just enjoying yourself at this property. There are many pools, there are many different areas. The dining is phenomenal. I could actually see the Arizona Biltmore being a staycation for many people. You want to also think about making restaurant reservations in advance. Many people come to the restaurants in the hotel that aren't even staying in the hotel because they are well known. So definitely consider making a reservation for dining there before you head over. And if you're staying here, absolutely, please make time to visit the Wrigley Mansion, which is just a few minutes away. I did a whole review on my time at the Wrigley Mansion in a different video, so I will make sure to link that below here as well. Who is this resort for? Perfect for couples, anniversary trips, luxury travelers, relaxing weekend getaways, golfers, people who appreciate history and architecture, bridal parties, bachelorette parties. This is the place to be. It may not be ideal for travelers who plan to leave the hotel early every morning and return late every night because it is kind of expensive to stay here. And there are so many perks to staying here that it might be a miss if you are not spending time at the resort. And if you are a family looking for lots of kids-focused entertainment other than the water park area, again, this might not be the place for you, but there is a lot to do in the surrounding area. So don't rule it off too quickly. All right, so would I stay here again? Yes, yes, and yes. I have been trying to go back many times. I actually scheduled my big 50th birthday bash there and had to change it because I got a speaking gig and I had to rearrange my schedule. So I did not get to spend my birthday there, but it is on my list to return later on this year. So my take, the Arizona Biltmore is not just a place to sleep. It's part of the vacation itself. If you love beautiful resorts, incredible architecture, relaxing by the pool, and experiencing a piece of Arizona history, I think it's absolutely worth considering. But if you're planning to be out exploring from sunrise to sunset every day, you may not get the full value from everything the resort has to offer. All right, so if you're planning a trip to Phoenix or the Scottsdale area and have any questions about Arizona or the Arizona Biltmore, please let me know in the comments. I'd also love to hear if you stayed here before or if it's on your travel bucket list.